Hello and welcome to Charter's Local Edition. I'm your host today, Lori Farkas. We're in Cheyenne, Wyoming at the Wyoming Association of Municipalities Convention. And this is a great opportunity for mayors and city leaders to come together. And joining us now is Mayor Rick Kaysen of Cheyenne. And thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, Lori.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being the host city. This is great.
It's a great privilege to host the 60th annual summer convention here in our state capital.
Tell me first of all what it means for the city of Cheyenne to be showcased like this. And we've got a lot of mayors and a lot of leaders here.
Well, we have over 300 plus delegates here for the convention. So it means a lot for folks to come into Cheyenne. So as you said, we can showcase our community, show what the public sector and the private sector has accomplished working together, from our downtown efforts throughout the entire city, from youth programs to our recreational facilities to economic development, kind of the entire big picture that, and a lot of times folks can't come to the state capitol very often. Right. So this is a great way to have them here, interact with each other, the networking that goes forward, the educational opportunities, and we've had a lot of state officials here as well, our governor, our secretary of state, wonderful. For example. So again, that interaction is very, very important.
Now, some of these smaller communities, a lot of the mayors and leaders that I've talked to, they face some really real challenges in their community. Why is WAM so important, an experience for them to take back some of this knowledge to their community?
Because as noted, we have an opportunity to interact. It's a great way for city leaders, administrators, mayors, council people to learn from one another. And even though small communities may be struggling, sometimes big cities have struggles. So we have an opportunity to learn from one another, perhaps steal somebody's great ideas, best practices, what have you. So it's not all gloom and doom as we sometimes have to think about when we're struggling with funding and what have you.
We're all in it together.
We're all in it together, the infrastructure. And another way of looking at it is, if we can help out one of our neighboring cities, why not try? Even if that neighboring city may be 400 miles away in another location in the state, and by the pick up a telephone or something like that, we can make those efforts and help one another out. For example, the towns of Lusk and Mansville hit hard, devastated by the flooding and everything else. You may have noticed there's a collection jar over on one of the desks. You see dollars, you see 20s, 10s going in there. That's a way we can also help our neighbors.
Well, not only that, but the state has really come together in providing, the Red Cross, the Guard, the Homeland Security. Everybody just kind of swooped in and has really come to the aid of those poor communities.
Yeah, it's just characteristic of the great people in the state of Wyoming, the resilience we have. We may disagree today, but we got your back tomorrow, no problem.
Well, speaking of flooding, we haven't had a lot here, but I know there's emergency plans in place for the folks to know about at home.
Yes, just recently we launched a Turnaround Don't Drown program here in Cheyenne, working with the Cheyenne-Laramie County Emergency Management Agency and the National Weather Service. And we do have some low-lying areas here in Cheyenne where water will collect when there's flash floods, when there's heavy rains. And there's these signs out there, plus this educational program that says, don't take a chance.
Yeah. You're
going to get over to the other side of town pretty soon, but turn around, be safe, whether you're in a vehicle, or you're on a motorcycle, a bicycle, or you just may decide to be walking. Don't take a chance. Take that extra couple minutes, turn around, go the other way.
Right, and we've seen that happen over the years.
Yes.
There have been some devastating accidents, and it really, if you can avoid that at all costs, it can happen very quickly.
Right. Unfortunately, August 1st of 1985, 30 years ago almost, we lost 12 residents in Cheyenne because of a torrential downpour in a very short period of time.
That was a crazy flood.
And we do not want to repeat that. And these are the efforts we can take to help save make sure our residents are safe and minimize destruction of property. That's one of our responsibilities.
Well, the city has really been proactive in terms of flash flooding. You've got a lot of retention ponds now, like Pando Park, Pando Pond, things that I don't remember being there when I was young growing up, and you've really taken a lot of steps to solve those issues.
Yes, we have. And in recent years, we've made improvements to Dry Creek drainage. We've made improvements to what's called the Sheridan Breach. Again, with detention and retention ponds. We've enhanced our storm water after heavy storms to carry that water off. So, and we're not done. part of our capital basin, which is the flood area for downtown Cheyenne. We're focusing on that in concert with a great project we have going forward called the West Edge Project.
You know, Cheyenne has really just boomed in the last, 15 years. There's so many great things going on. Talk a little bit about some of the economic development pluses.
Wow, and again, we have, this community
we could go on all day with that.
This community has put its heart and soul into it, because back in the late 1980s, early 1990s, we decided we were not hungry enough. And we were just moving along.
And we were told that by a national consultant.
That's right, we were relying on state government, but we were not happy as a community. So again, the private sector, the public sector came together, and we're now seeing a lot of the fruits of that labor. For example, we started out with the Cheyenne Business Park. We see businesses continuing to grow, adding new jobs, which is just fantastic. Then we created the North Range Business Park. Those are owned by our economic development entity, Cheyenne Leads, and that's attractive to businesses, because they don't want to worry about, I will build, or you build it and I will come. They're worried about cutting the ribbon, getting into production. And
infrastructure's there.
Infrastructure's there, whether it's water or sewer, electricity, natural gas, fiber optics for communication purposes, transmitting data and everything else. We're ready to serve. And that has been the big benefits that we have here in Cheyenne. And it continues to grow. We've gone from kind of a government-based, we went to warehousing, to manufacturing, to technology. When we think about international names like Microsoft here with data centers, EchoStar with a data center, Greenhouse data with that, the National Center for Atmospheric Research, and the fastest computational computer in the world in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
That facility is really something to be seen.
So the diversification that we've been able to experience and work hard at, it's paying off, and it's great.
Well, we're geographically gifted as well, located right at the crossroads. That really has sort of been a gift to us.
Well, it is. When you take a look at the transportation sector, we have major warehouses, distribution centers, and that. So when you have I-25 and I-80, one of the few communities in the entire country that have that benefit, you have two major railroads with Burlington Northern Santa Fe and Union Pacific Railroad, also going through our community. Great regional airport as well. We can get to most places overnight, in a manner of speaking.
We're very, very lucky.
Yep.
Well,
absolutely.
It's been due to some very good leadership too, and leaders who've had a lot of long-range vision.
Right. It's again, like I said, we were hungry back in the late 80s, early 90s, and now we continue. And now we're planning for future generations as well.
And looking a little closer to home, I know that a lot of the folks watching, they've seen some of the issues facing the city in the news, and they're big issues. They've been hotly debated. One of those issues is the trash hike, rate hike.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that and kind of where we stand with that right now, and the importance of that.
Right. This is under our what we refer to as our solid waste management plan. That includes a weekly service for your household refuse, every 2-week service for recyclable materials. During the summer months, we have a yard waste programs for your grass clippings, your tree branches, and everything else. So that's your weekly ongoing service, or every 2-week service. But we're also looking down the future. We are very concerned about our existing landfill. We've only have about 4.5 years more life expectancy with that. And we're only taking construction materials now. Your household refuse, my household refuse, is going to a landfill in northern Colorado. Well, that sounds like a pretty good deal. We don't have to worry about it down there. But we're spending over $1 million a year where those dollars could be used here. So we are working with the Department of Environmental Quality with the state of Wyoming on expanding our existing Happy Jack landfill. Why at that location? Because we already have access, we already have equipment, we have personnel, we don't have to duplicate that anywhere else. Under that management plan, again, for solid waste, we also have a transfer station. A transfer station is where I, as a resident, can take materials, I can unload it at that particular facility, then we'll go ahead and compact that, and then we'll take it to the landfill. We're not going to have to bother you with that as well. So we're looking down to the future for our landfill expansion, our transfer station expansion, plus the equipment that we need to have. Yes, we do have an 8% increase going in effective July the 1st. That's to make up for some lost years where we did not have any increases, and also look into the future to make sure that we are going to be serving our customers for years to come and not have to have these types of increases in ensuing years.
Yeah, very important. And if you can believe it, we're out of time.
Well, thank you for
so many issues to cover. I know we could
Yes.
talk about 50 more things for
Well,
hours and hours.
thanks to you, Lori. Thanks to Charter for helping us share the message.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being here.
We'll
You've been
chat
watching,
again.
We will. We've been watching, or you've been watching Charter Local Edition, and we'll see you back here in just a few minutes.